So today we have a very special guest. We have one of the first NBA guests, and we wanted to bring in one of the greatest minds in basketball. We wanted to kick off this next segment of the Jaxxon podcast with someone that's just known worldwide to being an icon and a legend. And we have Jerry West in the house, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, one of the greatest to ever do it. And he's here to really just give us an inside look on the history of the game and what his mind is. It's an honor, sir, to sit here with you with my co-host Rampage Jaxxon and Luke Rockhold.
Well, it's a pleasure, actually, because one of the things I've always done in my life was when I was a little kid, grew up in a small little town, and I remember the old TV sets. They were this big, and no one had them, and this one family got one, and they used to have Wednesday night fights and either Friday or Saturday night fights. And I used to go there and watch the fights all the time. I was always fascinated about it. And actually, my interest has spread now to watch you guys fight. And completely different, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are fighting. Okay?
Yeah, it's a real fight. It's not boxing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But I think I've always said the most competitive people play the most competitive games. And some people talk about it and, I could do this. No, they couldn't. Because some people are not tough-minded enough. And that, I think, applies to all sports, to be honest with you. When you put in a big match or something, you have to, if you're not ready to fight, bad things are going to happen.
Competitive spirit. I've seen enough of your games to you throw your body everywhere. You got in there and got rough and rowdy and just went to town. And that's what earned you, obviously, how you dictated games. Well, came in there and a little undersized, right?
No, not really. I'm bigger than people think I am.
They say.
But I think the biggest thing is that when I look back, the things that kill you as a basketball player are any kind of knee injuries. Okay. And at one time, if you got operated on for certain things like an ACL, as a basketball player, you were finished.
Wow.
You were finished. Wow. Because now the modern medicine have helped these athletes so much. The only thing I had 9 broken noses in playing. And once you have them, you probably had some too.
I've had a couple. Yeah.
Well, but anyway, that's the only thing. But you go out and play. You get stitches. They said to get your fanny out there. But today, the players... it's a real special place for the players today because they're united and, the financial rewards are incredible, but it is so selective. Only 440 people can play professional basketball in this country at any given time. Mm. So you'd better be damn good because you got people all over the world. The 4 top players in our league are from, they weren't born in America.
Mm. Wow.
And so it's a world reach today.
Did you invent basketball?
Heck no. I tell you what, mentally I did. Yeah. Mentally I did. I used to, when you grew up in a small little place and no one else liked to do what I like to do.
When did you start? When did you start shooting hoops?
About 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a solitary person anyway. And you could go out there and make yourself be the best player in the world. You were the referee, the coach, and the timekeeper in particular. And so you could go out and make the last second shot. And I had people, writers in particular, why aren't you afraid to do this? I said, I've done it 1,000,000 times. Yeah. And what are you talking about? I said, when I was a boy, I said, I could find a way to put 1 second on the shot clock and make that shot. And I might miss it 10 times, but I was driven, I always have been. And the competitive side to life is what I thrive for and it would encourage everyone else.
Mm-hmm. That's a good mindset. That's Absolutely. A good mindset to have. Yeah.
Jerry, as a former Laker, 69 to 74, former coach and GM of the Lakers, 8-time champion as an NBA executive, you helped draft Kobe, helped facilitate Shaq to the Lakers. Overall, your legendary playing career, coaching career, executive career, overall, which one was the most fulfilling for you?
As a player, I had a lot of disappointments as a player. We made the finals 9 times. And unfortunately, Boston was there with a team that had Bill Russell, and we didn't have a player that could erase mistakes that other people would make defensively. And it is horrible to sit in a locker room and my goodness, my playoff numbers were crazy, just crazy. I think one series I averaged 47 points a game with Elgin Baylor was out. And against a good team. They were the Baltimore Bullets then. Now they're the Washington Wizards. And they had a really good team. And the coach came to me and said, oh, listen to this. He said, if you really play well and get us to the second round of the playoff, he said, I'll make sure you get more money next year. I said, yeah. So we get there, and the coach forgot all about it very conveniently. But, I've seen a lot of things in my life, and it's just remarkable what has happened to sports today in all fields. All of a sudden, women are getting recognized for their talents, and it really has come a long way. And for basketball players in particular, the money is just – we're going to have a $100 million player in, I think, about 4 more years.
Wow.
Per year.
And is it too late? Is it too late for me to start going playing basketball?
How much bounce do you have?
I suck at basketball. For $100 million, I can learn.
Okay. Well, as I say, there's a lot of competition. These kids today are like, you grow up and almost all of them are great ball handlers today. And sometimes that is a art that you want to have. But if you dribble all the time, it makes it very, very difficult to have a team.
I heard Luke Cockho is real good at ball handling as well.
Right.
Reason, right?
Well, balancing,
I don't know if that's going to pertain to this conversation.
Do you guys do things with balance?
Hey, I mean, I actually played ball. My dad played 2 summer leagues with the Warriors.
Right.
Played in Europe for a few years.
Oh, great.
Played in Italy and France and everybody. And I won the AAU championship.
Can you slam dunk?
I beat Oakland when I was a
real?
kid. Yeah, we beat Oakland in the AAU championships.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, so I played some ball growing up at a young age.
Well, it's it really kind of the best team game. And I say because you look at football, there's 2 separate teams, a defensive team and an offensive. Basketball, you have to be, if you're going to stand among the crowd, you must be able to play both ends of the court. And that probably was my strongest suit when I first started it in the league. And then you evolve and become something different because the coach pushes you in that direction. But with all sports, it's a learning curve for you. When you first started out, were you know what to expect? Probably not. I'm sure you didn't. You say, hey, I think I can do this.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
What was the most difficult task in the first fight?
The most difficult task for me was cutting weight. My first fight, it was amateur. I was cutting weight, and the guy was a little bit smaller than me, and it was like a last minute. I took the fight on 3 days notice.
Oh my God!
And I had to cut weight, and I'm in there cutting weight. I'm a wrestler, so I know how to cut weight. I didn't think it was a big deal, but they kept going in there and making me wait. I said, I know I'm on weight. Then next thing you know, the guy weighing me in kept saying I wasn't on weight, right? Then I go out there and fight, and he's in my opponent's corner.
Oh my God!
So he was cheating. I made weight probably the first time, but he kept draining me like I didn't make weight because you're not supposed to cut weight and fight the same day.
Right,
that's not right. But it was that's what I had to do. But that was my biggest challenge was making a weight for that first fight.
And what was if you had any fears of both of you? If you had any fears in your first fight, what would that might be?
I mean, there's just so many outcomes. You never really know what's going on. That's the fun part about it. And that's the challenging part about it. It's just walking into a space where it tests every part of your physical and your mental abilities.
Right.
And it's nothing like you can really
better have courage, right?
Put into words.
Well,
but that feeling of overcoming it is something you'll never want to.
But for me, it was always the fear of getting embarrassed by getting knocked out or something like that.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing, like being embarrassed, because in fighting, it's just you and that other guy. It's not a team where you can get on someone. No, you got to pick it up. No, it's me. I got to pick it up. And if I go out there and get knocked out in front of all my friends and family and my coach and stuff, that's the fear for me, embarrassing my team.
Well, I tell you what, and I think that's like these kids today, or when I started, when I was first came in the NBA, you read all these names and everything, and you start, oh my gosh, this guy has to really be good. It was probably the biggest shock I ever got when I first played my first exhibition game, and there were a couple of players on that respective team that were really highly ranked. Everyone knew them. It was really kind of crazy. And here I'm out there playing against him after the game, and I was really quiet. I mean, shy as can be. And after that game, I walked out of there, and I only played about 15 minutes. And I was the second player taken in the draft. But the thing that was remarkable about it, I said to myself, if these guys are great players, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better. But the thing that makes you better ultimately is obviously your skill and learning how to play with people, and also, how dedicated you are. I used to sit in the locker room for a game, sweat just used to pour off my hands. And it's just like there's so much adrenaline in your body. You get to the point where you can't sleep after a game. And at that point in time, sometimes you had to play 3 nights in a row and you didn't fly private. But there's so many things I learned about myself during that period of time that, you can be your best some night and your team doesn't have it. But you guys get exposed, I guess, because there's no one in there to help you or you don't have any teammates.
Right, yeah.
No one. No doubt.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about fighting is it's just you. You can have all the preparation you want. You can have a great coach, great camp, great team, but these guys have to go in there and do the work. Jerry, during the time where the world was locked down, I spent a lot of time with you on the phone, and you were so gracious, and you were talking to me about basketball, and we were talking about social media and the potential of launching, your social media and campaigns, and you were very cautious because of you're so honorable and the legacy you have. You want it to be told correctly. And one of the things that I really was just loved about listening to you talk was the way you talked about the Kobe and the drafting of Kobe and the story of Kobe. I would love for you to elaborate on that, about that whole situation.
Well, I think most people have, they're aware of that he got here, okay? But there was a bigger prize there, and that was Shaquille O'Neal. It's one of the greatest free agency period we've ever had. I mean, there's a bunch of about 5 really good players. And so our sights were set on him, and he was in Orlando at that point in time. And his agent was here in Los Angeles. We'd been friends for a long time before he had represented Shaquille. And so we started talking, and it was really one of the most difficult things that I felt more tired when this was over with. And I'll tell you why. So we're trying to get him. And at the same time, we know that he's going to be a huge contract for that point in time. So we got to a certain point. We negotiated a contract with them, and we couldn't meet their demands. So we took an all-star center, or not an all-star center, but a really good center, traded him. We tried to trade him from the first pick to way down to Kobe at 13, 13, I believe. And so anyway, make a long story short, I didn't think there was any way that we could get Kobe Bryant along with Shaquille O'Neal. But you have to have a wish list in life. And if you're competitive, you're going to try to go out there and achieve that. And so all of a sudden, I was talking to Jerry Buss all the time then, who was the owner of the Lake. And I said, Jerry, we have to make this trade. And I said, starting center. And I said, if we don't get Shaquille O'Neal, there's Mutombo was out there, who was a very good defensive player, and so he was our fallback guy. I haven't seen you guys do that. He was our fallback guy, but all of a sudden we got in a situation where he agreed to come to us. Okay, every agent says you can't get him, of course, and I think it was a determination of the franchise, and Jerry Buss encouraging me, just go forward. So we tried to make this trade so we could get under the salary cap enough to get Shaquille O'Neal. And we did. And that player happened to be Kobe Bryant. And we had worked him out, and he was just, I guess in your field, you see fighters that are exceptional, but can they withstand the test of time? That's, to me, of all sports, and that's how greatness, and where people, they're always talking about the GOAT this, the GOAT that.
Perseverance.
Oh yeah.
Perseverance, dedication. It's like you went through what, 8 championships or
Right.
7 before you won yours?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, and you got MVP with losing. Like, how's that?
Did that twice, by the way, in college also.
Yeah, and then there's
how's that
another
make
one.
you feel? It makes you feel horrible.
How does how about when you didn't they, like, in one of the finals, you guys had a real close game with Boston, right? And then they benched, like, they had some beef with the coach, and then they benched
Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, actually,
How'd you feel?
he had hurt himself, and our coach, and it was really crazy then. Players and coaches then did not get along. They just did not, and because everyone, I need to play, I want to play. Well, sometimes if somebody's hurt, they're not going to play, and you know how important they are in your team. But that was one of the most awkward things. I did not know to the extent of his injury. And he talked to the coach, and the coach didn't put him back in the game. And obviously, I thought it was a mistake, and it really never got into it. But it's just really difficult because I think as a professional player, I think I had 5 coaches. Whatever they asked me to do, I would do it. I just didn't want to bitch or complain or, our championship year, Bill Russell. I mean, not Bill Russell, but Bill Sharman, who played for the Celtics, and I played against him. He became our coach, and he said to me before the start of the season, he said, "I want you to lead the league in assists. I don't want you to lead the league in scoring." And so I led the league in assists, but still averaged like almost 26 a game. Most fun I've ever had on a team that was really a team. We could win any kind of game, a physical game, a half-court game, a defensive game. But an offensive game, you weren't going to beat this team. I mean, we could score like crazy. But the adaptability of players to go, when Bill came in and said, "Hey, we're going to do this," the adaptability of players, and particularly if you played a certain way for a long time, is very, very difficult. But it was like, the difference in if you want to be a horse is behind anything to try to win at the top level. And the top level, of course, is winning an NBA championship. And it was a crazy period for me. I was getting to the point where I knew I wasn't going to play much longer. But again, the dedication was always there. But I stopped playing when I would have been the first $1 million player in the NBA. I stopped playing. I just said, I can't do it anymore.
You got tired of it?
Well, what else is there to give? You have to be able to give every time you go out there and play. You have to be focused. And again, it came down to, in a locker room, in an exhibition game, no sweat on my hand. And we played Bill Walton's team in Portland, and they were very good. And the last game I ever played is an exhibition game, and I played really well. And I called the coach and the general manager, and I said, "I'm not going to play anymore." And honestly, they were so mad at me. I couldn't figure this out. If I was going to play, a big pot of gold then, $1 million was a lot then, and still is, by the way. But I just couldn't do it. And they were, I was like persona non grata. I didn't even feel welcome around there anymore. Wow. And I was fortunate that, when Jerry Buss came in, I was the coach of the team, and I knew that wasn't for me. I expected way too much of the players and be committed. And that was a crazy time for the NBA. Oh, my gosh. It was like crazy.
Were you already the logo sign, or did that come later after you retired?
Well, I'm always reluctant to talk about that. I think that's me.
I was wondering if people call you the logo as a nickname.
Well, they do. A lot of people do. And particularly players and from even today, some of the players will call me that. But I think the most...
You got that swag. You got that little swag.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, come on. Jerry, you going to give us a little swag?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, give it
the crossover.
Well, today, my hand will be under the ball because you couldn't... Yeah. You carried the ball all over the place today. But this is how the game, the game has changed so much. And if you can't change with any any sport or any game, you're probably going to fall behind. You know, whoever thought that we'd see teams shoot 50 3-point shots in a night? 50 or more.
Speaking of the 3-point line,
You can't play defense. If you just let somebody hit you all the time, it's not going to feel good, okay?
They didn't even have the 3-point line when he was playing.
No.
And he still put up more points than probably everybody. I think on the list, you're still top 30 most points.
Well,
Yeah.
I
25,000.
I think the number of games I played, I played
Less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000. And if I could have stayed healthy, I had a chronic hamstring pull, honestly, right in the height of my career. And there's, they didn't treat it then. You look at football players, and the kid the other day from San Francisco, the linebacker who got hurt. Did you see how he got hurt? He was over there jumping like this. He was going into the game, and they said that he has an Achilles tear.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was on the sidelines ready to run in.
Right.
Jerry, when you were talking about the Kobe story earlier, one thing is that you mentioned Shaq so much, and you guys were so, efficient on wanting to get him. But what was it about Kobe that wasn't on that same level of radar? Did his stardom, did you guys not see it yet? Did you not see the success or the greatness yet?
To me, it was the easiest draft pick ever.
Got it.
At that time, it was in vogue, unless you were 6'10" or more, to be drafted, high school kids getting drafted.
Yeah.
And Kevin Garnett was a perfect example. He was tall. But Kobe, it's hard for me to believe that people pass on him. His passion, his dedication to the game. He had a great smile. He had everything going for him. But on top of it, he was people call them dogs. I call them wolves. Wolves kill dogs.
100%.
And he was a wolf, okay? Early on in his career, he had the players called him Showboat. And I spent a lot of time with him the first 2 years. And just to hear him talk, and, he was really bright on top of it. His father, Joe, his nickname was Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean. I wouldn't want that nickname if I were a player. But he's a great guy. But anyway, through Arn Tellem, who was his agent at that point in time, he the family told New Jersey was going to draft him, and they like 7 or something like that, and they talked him out of drafting him, and it was good fortune for us to get him. And I told Shaquille along the way, I said, Shaquille, we drafted a kid that you're not going to believe how good he is. I said, he's 17 years old. He couldn't even sign a contract.
Wow.
Because of the old movie laws where kids, when they weren't a certain age. Yeah. And he was a breath of fresh air, he really was. I mean, he was so competitive. And he was going around all the time that summer, and I'll never forget it. He would be playing pickup games on the beach and everything. I told him, I said, Kobe, you can't do that. You're going to get hurt. So about, I think, 4 or 5 days before training camp, I get a call from our trainer. He said, well, I said, yeah, he hurt himself. He said, you're right. He said, I think he broke his wrist or something
On the street ball court.
But it was
Playing street ball with
it was at Venice Beach. He hurt
his homies, yeah.
And so he and I had a long conversation. But I'll never forget training camp where we used to go over there all the time to Hawaii. Jerry Buss loved it over there. Had a lot of fans then. And he was over there with this cast on him. It was on his right hand, okay? So he was constantly shooting with his left hand. And he got to the point where it looked like he was really ambidextrous. But
wow,
there's some incredible stories on him, some very touching. And even to this day, I went to the unveiling of the statue downtown. And one of the things I was most taken by, how many fans he still has. And he was, I think because of the way he passed away, if you noticed last week, there were like 3 helicopters crashes last week.
Yeah, we heard about that.
Yeah, the Marine helicopter.
And someone from an African country that was, I think they were going to Vegas.
President.
Well, the helicopters are really dangerous.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think the thing that I look at all the time in my family room in my house, I have this picture of him and little girl Gigi, and they're sitting on the floor seats at the Laker game, and she's cuddled up against him, and he's looking at her, and she's looking at him. It's one of the most touching pictures that I've ever seen, and there's not a week that goes by that I don't make sure where I have it that I look at.
Yeah.
I always do.
Yeah.
And he's a special player. He was going to be a bigger success. He was really bright. Nice. And he was the first one, really, honestly, that got on the bandwagon for women. And now you see all these and some really incredible players. My goodness, these girls are really getting better and better. So I think through his efforts and he made it, in my opinion, he made it something special for women to say, I can do this when people tell them they can't.
Right. Mm-hmm. He was a good guy. My daughter played against his daughter. Right. And my daughter told me he was the coach. Right. He was coaching, and my daughter played. Yeah. She knew she played against him.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. And I met Kobe one time. I went to the Lakers game, and I guess I was sitting close, and he recognized me. I didn't know he knew who I was. And I met his wife, and he took me backstage and everything. And
that's him.
Yeah, he was really nice.
Him.
I hit on one of those cheerleaders, and I got kicked out of there.
Right.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, the Lakers.
Kobe's a big fan of fighting too. He came supported fighting one of the first guys to come over and really kind of show support and love.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's in the game.
You know, I sit at home and I watch it. As I told you, I'm a fan. Okay, because boxing is now the great fighters never fight each other, and they'll fight one time of the year, and they make $50 million, and they go back and fight again. But
if MMA was around before you got into basketball, would you have been a fighter?
I love boxing.
You would have been a boxer?
I don't know if I would have been, but I used to have when you're young and you don't have anything, I made a punching bag, okay?
Yeah.
and it's just something from watching these really tough guys and how much more difficult it really is. But, there's like one boxer today that I think is incredible is Bud Crawford. Mm-hmm. He fought his last big fight. He fought,
Spence.
Spence.
He's just as methodical as it gets. He's just minds in the game.
He just doesn't get hit.
Yeah.
He's so good defensively. And that's what I've always watched in your sport. Yeah. The guys that get hit too much are not going to make it, okay? Right. They're not. Yeah. You have to learn to be just better defensively and also seize the moment when there's one there, and you can see it better than anyone else.
Yeah. Right.
But the other night, I sat at my house, and I was watching YouTube, and I was watching the, the guy who from was Kazakhstan. Habib. Oh my gosh, that guy was so good. And everyone said, well, he's going to do this. I don't care how good you were, he was going to put you on a canvas.
Yeah.
So he had the instincts to do it and the skill to do it, and he was really tough.
Yeah,
he was really tough. But all those kids that come, there's a lot of them over there now.
He's my teammate. I kind of
boxer
took him under my wing when he first showed up
really?
in the United States. Yeah.
What kind of person was he?
I mean, he was the hardest worker. I mean, he literally showed up by himself at our gym up in San Jose, California, and I was like, "Who is this kid?" And he was just he was running around the gym, just so gritty and so hardworking. And it was he kept coming after me, and he was such a small guy.
Right.
I was like, "What is that?"
Hold on one sec.
What's going on here?
Who's playing soft jazz?
I think that's Jerry West.
Jerry,
was that you playing soft jazz?
If that mean what?
Is your ringtone soft jazz?
My goodness, do I have my phone on?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We like the soft jazz.
Soft jazz.
I thought I left in the car.
No, that was nice.
We'll let you slide this time.
No, that was nice.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, Jerry, that was amazing. Leave that in there. I like Jerry's soft jazz ringtone. Yeah. Jerry, one of the things that I really loved about what you said, because I'm an LA guy, so I'm a Laker fan, but I'm really good friends with Paul George, and I love Zoo. These guys have been supporting my brand for years in my paintball parks, SC Village. Paul George was one of the first to ever come to my paintball park. That's how I became friends with everybody. But originally, I met everyone through Kobe. Kobe did his daughter's birthday party at my paintball park.
That's right.
And then Rampage was there. Anderson Silva was there. They were all there at my park that day. So it was a unique experience for me meeting Kobe. Then I met D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson. And through that circle, Kobe kind of co-signed and let me do videos like backstage with the Lakers at my paintball park. So he was really instrumental in helping me kind of bring celebrity content and athletes to my facility. So I was forever indebted to him. And then he did his daughter's birthday party there and it went crazy. And he used to come to my dad's charity event in downtown LA, 10,000 kids. They would give away toys and Kobe would show up and sign autographs, take photos. Phenomenal dude of the community. So I know the impact he had. When you talk about impact in LA though, as an organization, I saw a quote from you that said that the Clippers organization is the best organization you've ever been a part of. Is that a true quote?
Well, it is. It is in this sense. Okay, it's the hardest working group of people I've ever seen. Unbelievably, the amount of people there and the amount of money spent on trying to stay ahead of everyone else. But franchises are judged by how many championships they've won. That's how they're judged. And this is a town for the Clippers to get a foothold. We've got to win at a greater level, and particularly when it matters most, the historical things. And your sport, there's times you remember, times you don't. But from a perspective of that, I mean, we have legions of people working for us in the basketball department. When I was with the Lakers, we had a very small group, but we had an owner that was just fantastic to work with Jerry Buss. And I didn't like, I'm not a big analytical person. I'm not. Sometimes it's very difficult to see inside of someone, their heart, their head. And I've always said what's important is invisible to the eye. You just have to be able to jump in someone's body and try to see, how they're connected to the sport. How much does it mean to them? As I mentioned today, the money is incredible, and so there's more competition today. But the greatest times I ever had in my life, obviously, were, I was thrust into a role as a general manager because Bill Sharman was the general manager. He couldn't talk. And so I basically was fortunate, I guess, that he trusted me to do something. And I felt I got better every year, particularly how you treat people, how you interact with people. Make them welcome. Most disarming thing in the world is a smile. Mm-hmm. It is a smile. And we had a lot of fun, but didn't have very many people. And, I mean, it's carried on. They have one of the most elite players we've ever seen in LeBron James, and it's remarkable what he does at this age. But I want to ask you something. In your sport, how long can you guys fight?
Well, I'm older than you, right? Yeah. I haven't fought in like 4 years, and I'm going to do my first boxing match in June.
Okay.
I'm fighting this guy named Shannon Briggs. He's about your height. I was going to ask you want to be my sparring partner?
Well, as I say, I told you, I don't think that would be a good idea. I'm a little long in the tooth, as they say.
So I think in MMA, I think we've had fighters that fought all the way up to their 50s. But,
oh my goodness!
Yeah, but but it's still a relatively young sport. Right. But I think if you keep yourself together and you stay healthy, I think you can fight up to your 50s, but you shouldn't fight young people.
Right,
no.
Right.
You decline. I mean, like late 30s, I'd say. Late 30s is like where you're gonna see a slowdown and what's what, and depending on how much you enjoy yourself after the fights.
Right.
In between the fights, there's no it's not like a season. You know what I mean? It's like fighting is. You pick fights within the year, and sometimes you have a long layoff, and so it's hard to keep your focus. Injuries mount up, you know, and then those injuries kind of drive you insane too within the space, right?
Right. Well, as I say, to me, the most football is a very physical game.
Yeah.
But if you guys don't like what you're doing, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
You have to love what you're doing, and I don't care what it is in life. I've always been a goal setter for myself. There's certain things that are important to me. I'm constantly writing notes down to myself. When I was a kid, I used to write in my own little words. I'd put up there, I'm going to shoot 300 shots today, okay? And I got to the point where if I didn't do that, I was disappointed in myself. So why even have goals? Goals should be written down. You should talk to people about them. And if you do that, you won't give up. Some people hit a wall and they say, I can't get through that. Oh, yes, you can. You have to persevere. You have to, again, have that dedication that you guys have had. And as I told you both, it's amazing to watch you guys in the ring. And I always say to myself, what would I be thinking if I were in the ring? I knew what I thought as a basketball player. Just go and compete. And I felt from a skill perspective and from a competitive perspective, no one was going to top that. We might lose a game. But for me, no, I was just driven to be the best I could be within a framework of being a teammate. And you guys are such an individual sport.
Yeah.
And, just as I mentioned to both of you, I would love to come to a gym sometime when you guys are training.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Come down
right here at the Jaxxon house.
We're
That's why
about to build
building
it
the
out
gym.
here.
Yeah, we're building this gym here as a recovery and a wellness center for our athletes. So our fight team and all of the athletes, because we sponsor athletes in skate and moto and mixed martial arts, so they can all kind of come together as a community. One of the things when you talk about athletes and goal setting, it's so unique the way you describe it, because you speak in such a tone where you just have to listen, because you're so iconic. One of the things that you've said before about players is the way players operate as a team and what they do. And you as a general manager and executive, do you feel like, for example, when you won the MVP in the finals and your team still lost, do you feel that there's players in today's game that are good enough to win championships, but they'll never get on a good system? Like, do you feel that there's players trapped?
Well, today, if you're really good today, you're going to have a lot of teams to bid for you if you want to be an unrestricted free agent. There was one time that I wanted to be an unrestricted free agent. I did. At that point in time, you didn't have agents. You didn't have people that were representing you. And I'm assuming you guys at least have people that have your best interests. But to me, just watching the development of a sport and how you adapt to the different things thrown at you. I mean, it's a complete, like, for instance, today basketball is a completely foreign game to me, okay? As I say, the three-point line, if you don't live today as a coach, and if you're growing up when, you're out there and the guy was hitting you in practice and stuff like that, calling you all kind of bad names, that doesn't work today. It doesn't. So the coaches have had to be adaptable. Also, the front offices have to be adaptable. You have to be concerned about the salary cap. How can I maintain this player? And again, 440 people. That's pretty darn selective. I mean, you don't want to. If you have one there, sometimes people give up on them too young because they come in at 17, 18 years of age, and don't ever do that. I mean, that's a crime.
Yeah.
When did the 3-point line come in? How did that come about?
Was it 88? And that year, I think.
After your whole career, huh?
I'm sorry?
After your career?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think that year we won the championship, I believe, and we shot, like, for a whole season, we shot, I think, like 300 and some three-point shots. I mean,
technically speaking.
But that team was, oh, my gosh, you're talking about a basketball team. That was like the prettiest basketball you ever see. Passing, Irvin Johnson out there on with that big smile on his face, directing the play. Abdul-Jabbar, who didn't say anything, but he just killed you with his skill. Michael Cooper, James Worthy. We had, at one time on our team, 5 first-round draft picks.
Wow.
5, and traded for them, put them in for a specific situation. That is difficult to do with more teams and obviously the salary issues. So it's so much more complicated today. We see a lot of attorneys involved today in the league, young people who have their own ideas how to put together a franchise and run it. But at the end of the day, talent wins in the playoffs. Talent. You might be good in the regular season, but talent talent will win.
Teamwork too, though, right? I mean, like the guys had to mesh together too. You know, the
Oh
talent,
yeah, well
the
that's what I say.
If
Talent.
the talent doesn't mesh together, then
Well, that's what
How
I
you gonna
say.
how you gonna tell Jerry West?
I'm not. I'm
No.
I'm not saying
No,
like that. but I'm just saying,
I agree.
Look at
I
the Clippers.
agree.
You put all these crazy guys in together, and sometimes they just don't mix well, right?
You know, you can watch players today in sports, and you know every sport, and particularly basketball,
Yeah.
teams that are not very good teams are going to have someone to score 20 points a game because of the way the game has changed. A 3-point line, more opportunity. But you take that player and everyone says, "Oh my goodness, we really helped ourselves." You get the guy, and he's just a guy. He doesn't do it. But you hit it right on the head. You can identify people that can play together.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out there and you watch enough games, and this point of the season, it's like the dog days for the players. I mean, you see some crazy games. We played last night in Minnesota, and they just destroyed the Clippers. And sitting there watching the game, I said to myself, okay, these guys need a break, number one. You don't want to rush to judgment on what you think. But they are really good in both ends of the court. And they're smart. They play hard. And they're one of the most dangerous teams in the league to win a championship, I think.
Wow.
Minnesota, young legs,
They're
young
huge.
legs.
They're huge,
Fresh.
and they got a kid by
just
name
have so much
Edwards is really good, and they just gotta. They don't when they go to their bench, they don't get killed when they go to their bench.
Yeah.
But they've done a great job putting a team together. But again, they made some trades that people said, "Well, they're crazy for doing this," but they had a better idea of their players than other people did. And now here's one of the a franchise that's really, really good. I think, again, watching the teams, there's a lot of teams in the West that are really good this year. But the biggest thing, as I say, if you go into a home, not a house, but a home, they're completely different. A house and a home. A home is where you feel comfortable, where there's love, there's warmth. A house is not that. And how you decorate the house, if you decorate it, it's the players. And if you've got one piece out of place, it's like, oh my gosh, that didn't go there.
Yeah.
And I think with a basketball team, the same thing applies. And it is an ever-changing sport. It's fascinating to me to watch today. Everything that franchises have to do to really be competitive. And the biggest factor are injury factors. Memphis. Oh my goodness, they had a really good team. They've been decimated by injuries. Decimated.
Yeah.
I've never quite seen anything like it. But if you lose one of those players that's an alpha player, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, they had like 10 guys out and 3 games ago. They had like 10 guys out.
Oh, yeah.
It's like something unreal like that. When you talk about big guys and, players and health, do you think that the Kobe Shaq duo is the best duo the NBA's ever seen?
Pretty interesting. I think the way that team played then, how about Irvin Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? But Shaquille was just embarrassed. I remember that Mutombo was the defensive player of the year, and the Lakers played him in the finals. And Lakers won in 5 games, and Kareem didn't play the last game. But my fondest memories of the year that they won, my fondest memories of Shaquille playing against Mutombo, that there was pictures, and Mutombo big, and he's long, and Shaquille would back him down and dunk on him. And here's these pictures with Mutombo like this, and you could see. I didn't see that very much. With no. But I mean, it is pretty remarkable the respect that players have, and I think it's again in your sport, people have to respect what you are and what you stand for, and in basketball, or any sport, it's the same thing. There's some people that are just alpha.
Yeah. How would you rate Michael Jordan and LeBron and Kobe? How would you rate them? Who would you say number 1 and 2 and 3?
That's the question.
That's the question.
Who's your GOAT after your career?
Well, as I say, sometimes you have to be politically correct.
Yeah.
All of them in their own right. Yeah. All of them. It's rare when you see the talent of Michael. Michael Jordan was phenomenal. He was, if you just watch some film of him when he was young, oh my gosh, you're talking about an athlete.
Yeah,
but
ice cold too. Just
Oh,
ice,
my God.
ice cold.
Did you ever want
I
to
love
get
that.
him?
Like,
I'm sorry?
Did you ever want to get him on your team?
Oh, I'd love to, but that would be like trying to get into Fort Knox, I guess, where they keep the gold. He was just amazing, and he and I are still friends. We've been friends for a long time, and he's really a nice guy. He doesn't change. He's really pretty grounded. And then LeBron is, I can't believe what he's doing. Utah is talking about fighting some of them in the 50s. I know damn well they weren't as good as they are when they're in their 30s or 20s.
Right.
He's unbelievable. He'll have every record there is. He's a driving force to win games.
Unreal.
And then Kobe, he was just, again, one of those kind of like Michael Jordan, very good all around. And those guys determine games. Mm-hmm. What helps you determine a fight? Is it your training, or is it your knowing your opponent?
Determination, really.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, some of the guys you see aren't the most skilled. Like this guy who just won the middleweight championship at my weight. His name is Dracus Duplessis, and he's not really the most skillful guy, but he's so determined and he's so tough in all genres. He wills his way to winning, and he beats some guys that you don't understand how.
Was
he beats
that
them.
DDP?
DDP, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he beat Robert Whitaker, who was fighting this weekend.
Right.
I mean, the way he beats these guys, you're like, it's unassuming, but he's so disciplined and such a hard worker
Right.
that that can supersede technique sometimes.
Have you fought him? Have you fought DDP?
I trained with him a lot. I trained him out in Florida. He used to come train with us, and I put a lot of rounds in with that kid.
Right.
He's just tough, and he's getting tougher. So, but
Well, I think
styles make matchups too.
right. Great experience. Do you guys watch tape of your fights or opponents?
Yeah.
I don't anymore, but I'm sure you.
Right.
I mean, like I like to study my guys. I don't know if you like. I mean, at the heat of your game, like, did you study? I mean, like I like to like build that that unconscious thought,
I did
so
it
I
one
know
time.
what they're doing before they
Well,
do it.
the thing today, you have the players have access to tape while the game is going on. They can show you a mistake. But I think the reason I ask that, because once you look at something, I think if your mind is wired right, you're going to forget that because you know what he's going to do. If you watch it enough, you know what he's going to. You can anticipate certain things. Now,
Yeah.
even though you might anticipate it, he might have a counter to some of the things you do. But there's a kid that's in your sport today that always has real thin looking kid with different color hair.
Oh yeah.
Is he talking about O'Malley?
O'Malley.
Sean
Yeah.
O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy who's I'm training with her. He's fighting for the title. He's already beat him once. He's
Right.
He's about to do it again.
Well, good.
Cheeto Vera versus Sean O'Malley.
We're gonna make him shave his head.
right.
Jerry, as we talk about basketball players, I know this is a very controversial topic and you have to be politically correct, but something about Michael Jordan that people always make this argument. I'm sure the internet, there's a million of these debates, but everybody likes to make the argument that he did it in a shorter amount of time. He did it with less help. He did it with this. And there's all these comparisons. As someone who understands basketball probably better than anyone on this planet, do you feel that Michael Jordan is in a league of his own just because of the amount of championships he won in the time frame he did? Or do you feel that quote about he played against plumbers and all this nonsense when The Last Dance came out, is any of that real?
Well, again, I would just when you're talking about the three players we've talked about, it's just a matter of what you'd want on your team. It really is. But in every era in the NBA, there's someone that stands above all. Okay, all three of these guys stood above all, and LeBron is still going. So again, it's just people that like talk shows today. Some of them all they do is scream at each other. I like a real much more calm kind of conversation like this.
Yeah.
But in every era, you're going to have someone that's a dominant player. Look at Jokic today from Denver. He was the 37th pick in the draft, the second round, and they traded their first round pick. It was a center also, and kept him. And now his name is Jokic, and he plays for They traded him to He's in Phoenix now, and I know who. That tells you how people miss on players. He is really. If you're a teammate of his, oh my goodness, he makes the game so easy. He's just one of those really gifted kids, and he's not one of our elite athletes who have, jumps in the 38 to 45 range. He's not one of those guys, but he is just amazing. And coaches, those are the kind of players that are coaches' dreams.
Mm-hmm. How do you rate Curry?
He's really good.
Yeah.
And you know what? He plays. It almost looks like he's playing a completely different game.
Yeah.
Guys try to grab him and hold him, and one of the things that they do real well, and it's like the way they play. You cannot just stand back and wait on somebody. They're moving, cutting. They believe in ball movement, and his shooting ability is incredible. And I know him very well, and my son who works for the Warriors, they're friends, and it's just amazing that somebody. You look at him. If you saw him walking on the street and you didn't recognize him, and you say, "Well, that guy can't be a basketball player." Oh, he's a basketball player, and he decides the game himself.
I want to ask you about a little bit about history, like Wilt Chamberlain. Was you there when he scored that 100 points?
No, but it's a kind of a funny story. They played this game because teams didn't draw then, even with him. He had been scoring so many points, and we were going to play at St. Louis, and St. Louis had St. Louis Hawks, which are now the Atlanta Hawks. And we were talking, we didn't have a bus to pick up. There's a cab. We got cabs and went to the hotel. So things has really changed. And I think when I played, we had like covered wagons.
I can't see you fitting in the cab.
No, that's right. But there's some funny stories about that also. But I think one of the things that was really kind of amazing about him, we were talking, going to the hotel in the cab. I said, two or three of us said, he's going to score 100 points tonight if he can make free throws. And I think that night he scored 100 points, but I think he made 28 out of 32 free throws. That would never happen again in his life. He just was not a good free throw shooter. But his size and the lane, I think, was a little narrower then than it was today. He could touch the top of the backboard.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
But I was talking about jumping up.
Yeah.
Jumping up, yeah.
Say,
I mean, he was 7 foot.
That's crazy.
Well, you know what? He ran like world record times in the 440.
Wait, what?
And through the javelin.
Wilt Chamberlain?
The shot.
Wilt
Yeah.
Chamberlain?
Oh, yeah, when he was at Kansas. And
Wow, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he threw either the shot or the javelin almost world record distance.
And he even fought Bruce Lee. Where did he find the time to do all this?
Well, I say some people are just gifted. But that
wasn't him.
He was. It's amazing.
There's one more stat about him I heard about. I mean, how many girlfriends? How many girlfriends?
We don't believe that.
I know. Well,
how many girlfriends you
in
see
my last 2 or 3 years together? Once Elgin Baylor retired, I think we played together. I think 2 more years, and he and I went on the road. He was really a nice guy.
Yeah,
and because of his size and everything, I think
he stood out.
And some players, at one time, people weren't very respectable of size. They weren't. And but we had a lot of serious talks about things, and we would have dinner in each other's rooms after games and stuff. And so that's why I don't quite believe that story. He had a tendency to elaborate on things and make them bigger than life. And he told me that he drove from New York City to San Francisco in 24 hours.
Wow.
No chance.
No chance.
He said, he said he had a Ferrari. I said, I don't care.
No.
You can't do it.
Can't do it because I'm from Memphis, and from Memphis to California is 24 hours.
Right.
All the way from New York, no way he can do that.
No.
How does he fit in a Ferrari, by the way?
Who, him? Well, all these players today, these big guys, Shaquille O'Neal.
He's got extended cars, doesn't he?
Shaquille O'Neal's mother bought him for a birthday gift, I think a Bentley, and she put in the back, and he couldn't fit in it. So they have to take those to specialize the seating in them, because otherwise it wouldn't pass the eye test for the Department of Motor Vehicles. And in addition, he had these big boom boxes in behind it. And I mean, you could hear him coming for a mile around. He also rode a motorcycle, which not in his contract. And can you imagine the size of Shaquille riding that? But you guys will love him. He's fun.
Yeah, he's fun. He's
fun.
good. I was at his party at the Super Bowl.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, Shaquille Funhouse or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he really is.
He'll send me a DM on Instagram every now and then, just random.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
He's
I
real
get a
cool.
call. He and I are still pretty friendly, and I get a call from him every once in a while, and we'll talk and converse. And I told him, I said, "My gosh, where do you have time to do all the stuff you're doing today?"
He's DJs, everything.
Yeah.
And he's also a great businessman. He owns a massive amount of fast food restaurants and chains and all kinds of businesses.
that was really the story on that was interesting.
Yeah. Give it to us.
As with the pizza place.
Yeah.
There was some sort of story that they were racist, okay?
Papa
And
John's.
so Shaquille, they went to him, and he is, as I say, he's just a phenomenal person, and that's how he got involved in that, and that's how people believe in him.
Yeah.
But he would stop the bus and stuff when we were on trips, and he'd see someone homeless or something like that, get off and give them money.
Wow.
And he's one of the nicest people ever.
How was Shaq in the locker room?
I'm sorry?
How was Shaq in the locker room? Rallied the team, or did he?
No, he was pretty quiet. Most players are pretty quiet before the game. I mean, it's just like, and particularly when it gets closer to a game, more importantly, a big game. There was some extra adrenaline running around there before a big game.
And tell Shaq next time you talk to him, whenever I go to Japan, people think I'm Shaq. So I be pretending like, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm like, yeah, so come on. Listen.
Well, you know what? You're not quite as tall as him.
I know, but in Japan,
Oh yeah. But
Everyone's you Godzilla.
hey, come on, Luke, that's messed up. Bro.
Called you Godzilla. Luke just called you Godzilla.
That wasn't cool, bro. I've been nice to you all day.
I got called what?
I've been nice to you all.
Bro,
I
I got called Godzilla one
you
time.
give him the worst nickname, and you mad he called you Godzilla.
I didn't give him no nickname.
What's wrong with Godzilla?
You trying to say I'm big ugly looking thing?
Oh no.
You see, did you know he's a model as well?
who, him?
Yeah.
Luke's a model
He's
for
a
Ralph
model.
Polo Lauren.
For whom?
Ralph Polo Lauren, Boss.
I did some fragrances
Jaxxon.
and stuff.
Well, both
I mixed
guys
it
are-
up. I mixed it up. You gotta
Well,
change the game. I
Both
don't
of you
discriminate.
guys are great looking.
Oh, thank you. Man. He's my favorite. They these two guys, they get all the ladies, and I'm kind of ugly out of the bunch, so they make fun of the way I look all the time.
Right, okay. What do you mean make fun of what you look?
'Cause they call me ugly.
No, I never called you ugly. No, because when he walks in, when he has the scruff, I'm like, yo, you look like Greg Oden with the scruff.
Yeah,
and then
he-
he gets all mad.
Yeah, he knows that I'm not a pretty boy. He'll have a barber here sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, and
Just
he
to clean him up a little bit.
Right.
Because he'll go 3 days in Vegas and then fly
Well,
straight
he knows
in.
how to because he's a model. He
Yeah.
knows how to
That's
do
true.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Man,
He's got
speaking of modeling, what do you think of his little mustache?
I just forgot to shave it. I went with a pistol Pete.
Hey,
I went with a pistol Pete.
that's it. Kind of embarrassing.
The mustache embarrassing. You don't like the mustache, Jerry?
It look funny, man.
Should I go Yankees on him and shave the whole
Someone
thing?
go get the barber.
Get the barber, dude. Bring him in. We got to shave it. Jerry says it's embarrassing.
Well, actually, he can't grow one. He's too young, right?
Yeah.
I was trying
his
to get
first-
some facial hair.
That's his first mustache.
Oh, really?
I was trying to get some facial hair.
No, he's just going out.
Trying to look
Get
a little
rid of
different. Done. Consider it done. Yo, when Jerry says it's done, it's done. Call the barber.
Thing's out of here.
Listen, as we get close to wrapping this up, Jerry, one of the things I want to know is as a executive and someone in the NBA, who are some players that you've seen just come through the NBA and really change the game? Like Steph Curry, I feel, changed the game with his shooting power and the way he just can toss from anywhere. But who's some players that people really don't see that get enough credit?
Well, again, I think you have to go back to eras and the rules. Okay, I really do. You're going to see today. You're going to see very athletic players, and in our league, they measure size of your hands and your length. Okay, so if a guy is 6'5" and his arm span are minus, he doesn't have the reach.
Yeah.
And you watch the kids today, they're long, angular, athletic as heck. The game is built differently, and it's built differently for Steph today. One time guys would be hanging all over him. And if he didn't have the way they play offense today, it would hinder him because, he's just not one of those massive kids, young men. And but I think that the periods that when you see the biggest change, I think it started when we had started to have younger and younger players now. Kids go to school today and they make a lot of money for playing basketball in college today. And it's almost like recruiting. A guy can be at one school and let's say he's really popular and he might be making $750,000. So at the end of the season, they opt out of their deal like a player can if you have a player option. And they become they become free agents. They'll go to another school in the same conference because they pay them more. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it needs college basketball. The NCAA used to be the governing body. They still are. I don't know how you can. It's like a professional sport today. I just wish that rules wouldn't change so often. And again, the 3-point line has changed the way this game is played. And we talked about it earlier, coaches and players, and particularly players. If you get in the wrong system, it might be not the system for him, but Steph is he's an incredible player, better person. You never find a better person. And he's looks like he's that cute little kid out there in the court who's cutting everyone's hair when he's
don't point to me. Don't point.
He's
How much of your game you think would have changed if you had the 3-point line? Like how much you like?
that would
obviously you're a big shooter.
That would have helped me a lot. No question. And I think the threat of it, if you can shoot it effectively and really well, it would enhance. If you like to drive and go by people and get to the free throw line. It would enhance your game. And that's what Steph has done. Around the basket, he knows how to finish off the board, and everyone's talking about how remarkable it is. It's something he works on, and he's got the skill to do it, and he does it every night.
Really?
He beats
Those
every
crazy
night.
shots, he works on those crazy shots?
Oh, yes.
Well, you hit
like
like
a
a 60-footer, didn't you? You hit a big buzz beater, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like a famous 60-footer.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Do you work on those? Do you work on those half quarters from time to time?
Well, they're not that hard.
No, yeah.
No, the most difficult thing is to keep them on line.
Oh.
And, I watch Steph go out there and shoot it. And again, he's stronger than people think he is. I mean, he'll shoot it at court and he'll make 3 or 4 in a row. Yeah. But he shoots the ball straight. Yeah. It's like free throws. If you can't shoot the ball straight in free throws, you have no chance to be a really good free throw shooter.
Yeah, we see a lot of people, they get paid a lot of money. They don't know how to shoot free throws.
What about your routine? Do you have a routine when you shot a free throw like that? I feel that's like kind of important, huh? Maybe to build a routine. I would imagine.
I used to take 3 dribbles, and I really wouldn't look at the basket. A lot of people look at the basket first. I take 3 dribbles, and just to kind of. Early in the game, you have so much adrenaline, you feel like you want to step across the line. Late in the game, when you're tired, you feel like you don't want your head moving all over the place. And that's kind of the key to balance. Everything you do, if you cock your head to one side, you can see your eyes are not level. And balance is the key to any sport. If you have bad balance, you're not going to be able to do some of the things that these extraordinary players do. And no one talks about it. They think you're crazy when you're talking about it. But just move your head forward, and even as good a shape as you are, but if you just cock your head one way, okay? What are you looking? Your eyes are like this, right?
How about what's his name? He used to rub his face on the Utah. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, something like that, right? Was it?
Well, some of them, I mean, there are a lot of
some weird things back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Everyone has their own idiosyncrasies, of course.
Did they put you in that video game? What was that 2K? What was that? The
NBA 2K?
NBA 2K.
Oh, no.
You're not like a character.
No, I'm too old.
No, but they can go back and get the
limited edition.
Well, they're not going to do that with all these athletes we have today. As I say, every era sparks. You're going to see probably What's a heavyweight division for you guys?
Well, over anything over 205.
205
and under
265.
265.
Okay, and
Guys cut weight. Guys cut weight too. Like some of
and
the
what do
bigger
you
guys.
what is your weight?
Middleweight was 185 pounds. I would have to make
Well,
in between 150 and 205.
you don't have any little dudes fighting very much, do you?
Just who you just met, triple champion.
Right. Oh
Henry
yeah.
said
Well,
he doesn't.
I've seen him fight before. He's good.
Yeah.
Really good.
He's Olympic champion.
You told him he was too short to play basketball.
Well, unless he's got about a 60-inch vertical.
I saw him walking off crying after you said that.
He goes, Jerry West, it's a pleasure to meet you. Henry Cejudo, super respectful. Jerry goes, yeah, you too short to play basketball. And he pat him on the head.
Have you ever seen the basketball players now?
Ugh.
When somebody's guarding them in the post or something like that, and they're same size, and the guy will put his hand down like
Too small.
this. He puts his hands down like this, and it's just too small. So they have basketball players they have their own kind of world they live in because I think they watch, they learn from the older players. They have learned one thing that I wish they wouldn't do. They start bitching by the time they come into the league now. And that is difficult to do, to keep your concentration. It really is. And it's for officials. I probably would be an official, would throw anyone out of the game. I just say, if you don't respect me, how can I respect you?
Yeah.
The last thing I want to ask you, because I know we kept you for too long. He might want something, but the last thing I want to ask you was, how was Kanye West growing up? I heard you was his dad, and you was Kanye West's dad, like Mr. Drummond from Different Strokes. Like you raised Kanye
What
West.
the hell is he talking about?
Kanye West.
I don't know.
He told me you was Kanye West's dad. You raised him.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, he is a little bit different, and I'm a little bit different.
Yeah.
So,
Why you like he said he was like like Mr. Drummond from Different Strokes.
Yeah.
And you raised Kanye West. What you talking about?
I don't know, but he's talking about. But on a more relevant pattern here. I heard a rumor that I don't know if you can add any relevance to it, but you might be passing the torch to Kobe on the emblem. Is there any?
I would, I like I told you before, I don't really have any comment on stuff like that because it's everyone. You could again. What about LeBron James? What about Kobe Bryant? What about Michael Jordan? What about the players who are playing today? It's just impossible to keep doing things like that. Even it's just impossible.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. As we get close to wrapping this up, it's an honor to have you here once again. And like we said, we wanted to kick off one of the non-MMA categories of podcasts that we do with someone as iconic as you. It's been, just a blessing. We want to know something. Is it true that you are the reason why Klay Thompson stayed with the Warriors? Is it true that you blocked the trade or you walked in? No, I heard you walked in the office and shut the door.
That's not true. I think there was some. They were close to having a really good team up there and younger players. But there was discussion up there from when Bob Myers was general manager. But I think enough people had the foresight to see that wasn't going to work for this particular team.
Got it. Yeah. No, it makes sense. We definitely hear a lot of the influential moves you've had over teams when you've been a part of them, especially when you went around and became an executive in the league.
Well, I say I've been a consultant except for Memphis and the rest of my career, or I shouldn't create career because it's never been any. It's just a labor of love for me, and it's not even a labor. It's just something I've loved all my life, and it's motivated me like crazy. Even at my age today, I'm still really competitive in certain areas.
Still shoot hoops?
And watching players play, I can, if I could just write about 3 or 4 things down about each player each night, maybe you could do this a little bit better.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you could be, more alert to certain things. I would do that, but that's not what I do today.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, having you just involved with any team, though, I can see that the knowledge and the wisdom you bring to them is a huge blessing.
Well, I've been privileged. Honestly, the places I've been involved with, incredible owners. I really have. Jerry Buss was the most special one. because we spent so much time together at the office. And then now Steve Ballmer is one of the nicest men I have ever met in my life. And he has done so much for society that people never knows, because he and his wife are an incredible pair, and they give, and they give a lot, and they never publicize it. And I think that's the thing that he's just a normal person, and he's a great guy. He really is. And I've been fortunate with Jerry and Steve and the Joe Lacob and the Warriors, and also the late Mike Heisley at Memphis. Those guys were all fantastic owners.
Yeah. And it's cool to watch what Ballmer's doing with the Clippers right now with their new stadium that they're about to open.
Unbelievable. By
State
the
of
way.
the art.
You guys should have a fight there, okay? I'm serious. That should be your next venue.
Is it state of the art, I heard?
Oh, my gosh. They have – you just have to go in there and see some of the stuff that's in there. You see it in Vegas over there, the sphere they have.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest experiences, and I know we got to cut this off soon, but one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had was, as I say, I had to be up there for one night, and I was doing something the next morning, and I had to leave. And I said, I'm just going to open the window, look out. All of a sudden, I look out, and there's this eye looking at me. I mean, this gigantic eye, and I said, oh, my gosh. But they can do anything. And he's got, they have a huge score, scoreboard, but a electronic device that runs all the way around the arena.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this thing can do anything.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing what they can do with these things today.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's cool that they're going to finally have their own stadium. Maybe their own arena will help them get a championship.
Well, that would be nice for him. I mean, you root for certain people, and one of the things I used to root for, the teams that haven't had success, it's nice because, the fans they come out and see the other team. It's nice when they come out to see your team play, and you give them something to play for and a reason to play.
Do you root for the Celtics?
No, I don't wear anything green.
We got you this green hat right here, Jay.
No, that's not me. That's you guys.
Hey,
Forget the green.
Who brought the green Celtics hat? Jesus, guys.
So I take it you don't go to the Masters golf tournament.
Oh no, I've been there a few times.
You golf?
I used to be a real good golfer. Yeah.
You do any sports right now for hobby, for recreation?
No, I sort of like to work out, and
nice.
I have a gym at my house, and I have to be careful. I'll hurt myself by just trying to do something. So
You're in great shape though for your age.
not
You
bad.
walk around.
Not bad.
You talk great. I don't see you going anywhere. You look fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And before we leave, last thing, there's a rumor that there was a sparring match between Bruce Lee and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the Coliseum in LA. Do you know anything about this?
Well, you can see there's pictures of that. Have you seen the picture?
That's why I got mixed up. I got him mixed up with Wilt Chamberlain.
Right.
Kareem
Yeah,
Abdul.
Kareem Abdul.
I got him mixed up with
Well,
Wilt Chamberlain.
it's like Bruce Lee's down here and Kareem's way up here. I don't know about that. I just saw them where they were. When one last thought about Wilt Chamberlain. He was talking. They were talking about him fighting Muhammad Ali.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Would have been huge.
Wow.
And I could just hear Muhammad Ali, timber, bang, when he knocked him out. No, there's, these guys in all sports, they want to try something today,
I wonder what his reach was.
Oh, big.
Probably like 90.
Who that?
Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar's reach was, I think, 92.
Jeez.
Wilt Chamberlain's like 101.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's a huge difference.
101 is big.
Oh, yeah.
The jab is like, where are we at?
Hey,
here?
101, you ain't doing anything. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yo, it's just been a pleasure and an honor to sit here with you, sir, and just to hear about these stories and kind of just get an inside look on one of the greatest basketball minds of all time. This is phenomenal for our community, for us, for me personally. I can't thank you more than enough.
Well, I thank you guys.
Come and watch us train.
And again, I will do that.
Yeah.
I will do that. I like to watch what you guys do and the teaching aspect of it. If you're working with someone, and I can't imagine working with someone and have to fight them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like beating your brother up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've done it a couple times. I had to fight people I like and stuff like that. Yeah, it's hard.
It is.
Yeah, my last fight, I had to fight my favorite fighter. He was my favorite. It's hard. You get out there. And
Who was your favorite fighter?
Fedor.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy was a beast.
Yeah,
But he fought too long.
yeah, he did.
Early on, he no one could beat him.
Yeah, correct.
Absolutely.
He knows his
He
shit.
knows, hey, he's a sports. He is
Yeah.
one of the greatest sports minds of understanding players. The guy understands, like he said, something you said that I'm going to remember for a long time. It's the things that you can't see. And I feel like that's what makes you so great as an executive. That's why you're beloved by everybody in the game. He sees things in players, you know, Kobe, Clay, Kawhi, just things that people can't see, and he brings it out of them. It's unbelievable.
Invite him to a UFC event one time. Next time I have one here.
He'll invite us to the Clippers floor seats.
Well, I can do that.
No.
Hello. Jaxxon, we'll sit with you. That'd be phenomenal.
Hey,
we got
let's-
security.
You want to come to the fights with us this
We're
weekend?
going to the fight this Saturday, kick somebody off and bring him.
I'm going to. It's an All-Star break coming up Wednesday, so I've already made plans.
Okay.
Oh,
Saturday?
Yeah. We got Matt. One of our athletes is Mac McClung. He's in the slam dunk
Oh
contest.
yeah.
No.
I think it's amazing how he's sort of not given up on his career,
Amen.
and he cares.
Before we leave, is there a reason why you think he doesn't have a spot on the team? Because he keeps getting these two-way deals.
Well, I think size probably.
Really?
More than anything.
That's normally my problem.
Yeah. I mean, how would you like to be 6'4"?
I would love to have been 6'4".
Well, that's true. I've probably been better.
Yeah. I could have beat John Jones if I was 6'4".
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's never lost except at one disqualification.
Yeah. I would have if I was 6'4",
It's
I
a
would have
human
beat him.
statistic.
Dude, your knowledge of the game is
Did you-
insane. Of every game.
Did you see my fight with him when I fought John Jones?
Something? I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I don't think I did.
Well, he was a dirty bastard. He kept poking me in my eye.
That's what he's known for.
And kicking my knee backwards. If I was 6'4", 6'5", I would have beat him. No way I would have lost.
Right.
That was my first time having deal with that length.
Right.
So I got that part down, right, the stand up. But what I didn't prepare for was the jujitsu. I didn't have a long guy like that to do jujitsu with, and that's how he got me.
Well, he's quick as heck too.
Yeah.
You know, the quickness in anything, but quickness is part of anticipation. You talked about, we were talking about. I asked you if you watch films. I used to have my mind was my film, okay, because at that point in time, you didn't have all this information available, and so you could anticipate certain players, and it just you were there waiting on them, and it helps regardless of what the skill. It helps to know what someone's doing.
Yeah.
John used to take it to another level. Like he would start to study your family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just got his skills. Like he was proper obsessed with Rampage, and like he's a little scared.
He didn't know much about my family. I kept a lot of my stuff private.
He tried to dig deep.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he's that type.
What if I get that new surgery where they make you taller and I go back and kick his ass? What do you think about that?
Well,
They got the surgery.
Make you a girl?
They make you Negroes. They make you Negroes. Get the new surgery.
I don't.
They can turn. They make you Negroes.
I can't come.
They cut. Yeah, you can. They cut. No. They do it mostly in Asia and stuff.
The
They
knee
can make you
can
taller.
grow, but
they do, they do it. It's in particularly in over in Asia over there, they do all kind of things medically, and then go to Germany. They're like a
you done
cutting edge sport for studies for athletes.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that and do stem cells.
yeah, you done
Well,
stem
I'll tell you
cells,
one
Jay?
thing. You better get out of your wheelchair when you before you go back in those times. Okay.
Listen, one thing that you just brought up, I gotta ask since he's here, and this is just phenomenal. You just brought it to my mind. Jerry, what do you think is the next biggest country besides the U.S. in producing top talent for the NBA?
Well, there's three countries in particular.
wow.
I think Africa, the USA, Africa, and they usually come through. They usually migrate through France, and then also Canada. No one ever talks about Canada.
Canada.
There's a bunch of really good players in the league. Shea Alexander,
Oh, yeah.
he's one of the best players in the NBA. But there's
Best
a
dressed.
bunch of kids from Canada, and also Australia.
Oh, wow.
Australians are big, and I think last thought I'm going to give you, because we could go on forever, but I remember when in England at one time, they used to send their prisoners, people who were convicts, they'd send them to Australia. To me, I would want to be a convict so I could get sent to Australia rather than England.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a nice island to live on.
Yeah, but in England, can't nothing kill you but yourself. But you go to like there's no
clouds.
There's no alligators, there's no poisonous snakes, no spiders.
Where's that?
In England, but in Australia is all this dangerous animals and stuff that can kill you. So they don't have, and
They have more poisonous snakes in Australia, and also they have really problems with
Frogs,
pigs,
sharks,
cats. No, not cats, pigs, and oh my goodness,
toads. The cane toads are crazy.
all kind of wild animals, and camels even.
in Australia.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. And so they're really, everyone's complaining they want to cull the herds so they'll be controllable. And you get my mind going. It's like I told you, I have all these trivia things I have in my mind. They're still there.
All right, we'll give you one more before
mind
we
is
leave. You
amazing.
can give us any trivia you want, then we're signing off. We got to get you back home to your all-star party.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go there.
All right, we're signing off. Listen, guys, this is Jerry West, one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm Degidio, Rampage Jaxxon, Luke Rockhold. This is the Jaxxon Podcast. Thanks for watching.